Hot Wheels fans, diecast collectors, car enthusiasts, do you, like me, have a special place in your heart for the Honda and/or Acura Integra? If so, I think you're really going to enjoy today's video. This is the latest release from the Hot Wheels RLC. It's the 1995 Honda Integra Type-R. In my opinion, a great casting, although it's not without some criticism. So whether this is a trip down memory lane for you or it's your first introduction to this car, let's go ahead and take a deep dive into this casting. By taking a quick walk around this car, one of the first things you'll probably notice is the white paint. Especially if you're used to RLC cars, it's interesting that they did just kind of a plain white paint job on this instead of a Spectre Flame color. I really like that personally, and that's part of what I enjoy about this car. It almost puts you more in mind of what you would see in an Elite 64 release. Also, something that I normally don't like is these wheels on this car, but I think they definitely suit this, and I think the tires they put on it lends to that. So overall, a nice casting. You will see that we have an opening hood here, revealing a Honda VTEC engine. We'll talk about that a little bit more here in a minute. Obviously, we have red racing seats in here over a black interior with a few extra details. Bottom is painted with some exhaust details. Overall, I think this is a really well done casting. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at everything here. As far as the accuracy of the casting, I am not a true gearhead, especially not anymore. But overall, I think the car definitely looks the part. And this is obviously the Honda version, so there aren't a whole lot of differences in my mind. The right-hand drive here is honestly probably going to be one of the bigger things. Front end obviously looks a little different as well. But overall, the body lines on the car are pretty much the same. Now, I will say right off the bat that one of the criticisms that I hear about this car, and you're going to find this basically anytime you have a premium or especially an RLC Hot Wheels release, the big thing now is for people to complain saying they don't like the price point. So for most people, this car is going to be about $30 delivered to your door, give or take a few dollars. And there are other brands out there that typically do a lot of JDM releases. The first one that comes to mind is like a Mini GT. And those are usually going to be a few dollars cheaper or right around the same price point. Now, Mini GT, Kaito House, NO64, some of these do some really nice JDM castings. The problem with that on this car is that while I've heard people say that and complain about it, I've not really seen anybody else that has a release of this car, especially not in 164. So there's nothing really to compare it to, I think. Now, if one of those brands starts making a car, then we might have something to compare it to. But so far, I think Hot Wheels did a really good job with this. Obviously, especially when you're talking about cars that are up in the $20, $30 range, you're always going to wish that it was a few dollars cheaper. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like this is a Hot Wheels premium that you're buying for $6 or $7. It's not like it's a main line that you're buying for $1.20, $1.25. This is a more premium car. Now, whether that's worth the price point or not is up to you. I think it is. The only thing I'll say is I wish they had added opening doors. I know they typically don't do multiple features on Hot Wheels RLC releases, but the casting is so well done in my mind that I really just wish they'd went ahead and done opening doors. I think that just would have added a little bit of extra flair to it. And the interior overall looks really nice, so I think that it would have helped show that off a little bit because it's kind of hard to see in the way it's designed. So taking a look at the front end, we definitely have this JDM style bumper. Also, the details on the grille I think are pretty nice. It's fairly well painted up here. Headlights are just tampos, but I think they did a good job with that as well. They definitely blend in with the car a lot better than some other headlights I've seen. I would be interested to see how they look on a different colored version of this car to see whether they blend in, look like they fit, or if it makes them stick out a little bit better. I think the body lines of the car kind of helps lend to that a little bit. Taking a look at the side, we have the turn signal lamp here. Type-R badging. I will say on some of the examples I've seen, the Type-R badging is a little bit off. It's either tilted or too far back. On this example, it's pretty nicely done. Go ahead, since we're on the side here, we'll look at these wheels. I think I may have already said, I'm typically not a fan of these wheels. I think they match this car really well. I do like that they painted them white to match the body color. And I think the tires that they put on it, this low profile, definitely suits. You can see the red interior kind of peeking out the window there. They do have racing seats. The rest of the interior is black. We'll take a closer look at that here in just a second. Working our way around to the back, we have the Honda badging. Tail lights, I will say there's something about this that looks maybe just a little bit crooked if you look at it too close. So I don't know if the casting itself is a little off. Maybe the car is that way, I've just not noticed it. But something looks like everything's leaning into the middle just a little bit. Of course, we have the Type-R badging here. We have the license plate that says 95 Type-R. Pretty well done little exhaust pipe here, although I will say this one had a little bit of slag, so you can see here that the paints kind of came off of it. Not too big of a deal for me. Other side pretty much the same here. We'll say, at least on this example, I've got a little bit of slag on this wheel and a little ding here on the gas cap. So overall, there are a few blemishes, and that's a lot of people's complaint on the price point. For the price point, you shouldn't be having these blemishes. And you know, to be honest with you, I don't completely disagree with that. It's not that I expect everything to be blemish-free. I do feel like, though, in looking at multiple examples of these and some other RLC cars, though, that the quality control from what you would expect for Hot Wheels just maybe isn't quite there. I would expect it to be just a tad better. Now, I realize what I'm saying there, but, you know, a $30 car that's supposed to be an adult collectible from Hot Wheels, a major brand like Mattel, you still just expect a little bit of quality control there. So take that for what it's worth. I'm going to go ahead and look at the underside here because there's not a whole lot to say. I do think it's really nicely done. The exhaust detail is really nice there. This is more than you get on a lot of other castings, so definitely enjoy that. I think it adds to it. Take a look under the hood here. The hood opens very nicely. I'd be interested to see if you know, most people I think are just going to display this if you even take it out of the package at all. So I would be interested to see, though, if you open and close this a lot, how loose it gets, because I've not opened it much, and it does kind of have a catch here. But, you know, a lot of Hot Wheels releases, when they have the opening hood, it's really tight. And so this one I've opened and closed a few times, you know, to make videos and kind of just to check it out. And it does feel a little bit loose. Now, like I said, it has a catch here, so maybe that'll hold up, but over time, I'd be interested to see, you know, if it starts flopping down on you. So another critique I've heard of this, one is that the engine bay isn't detailed enough. I think for what you would expect from RLC, this is a very detailed engine. Now, would some other brands maybe do it better? Possibly, but really this isn't too bad. Now, my camera, I can't hardly get it to focus properly. Let me see if I can zoom this in a little bit. See, we have the dual overhead VTEC Honda Motors Company, all that written on the motor, so that's pretty detailed right there. Paint's fairly accurate. You also have the torsion bar here. Even has the Type-R on the torsion bar. I just noticed that with some little, I guess that would be nut detail here on the torsion bar. So overall, I think it's a pretty detailed engine compartment. I've also heard some other people complain about it being the wrong style engine for the car. Honestly, I'm not enough of a gearhead anymore to know that. It's nothing that I notice. I don't think most people are going to care. So, you know, if that's something that bothers you, you might want to check that out. But overall, I think it's a great looking engine bay, and I think it's definitely probably one of the top features of the car, really. I think it's a nice looking casting overall, even with the hood closed. And to be honest with you, that's probably how I would display it. But it is nice to have the option, and that they just didn't, you know, throw something in there. I think it's really well done. I think they paid a lot of attention to the detail here. So looking at the interior, it is a fairly plain black interior. I'm going to shine an extra light here so maybe we can see in it just a little bit better. Right-hand drive, as we've said. It's going to be hard to see it on the camera here, but the steering wheel is actually pretty well done, as is the gauge clusters. Rear seats you can't really see unless you're looking at it from back here, kind of, so that is what it is. The racing seats are kind of the highlight. They definitely pop against the white exterior paint. Unfortunately, let's see if I can get it to show through here. Actually, if you're looking at it from here, you're probably not going to be able to tell. In person, I can see that on the side there, the paint kind of didn't get done exactly great on the driver's seat here, so there is some black shining through. You know, unless you're looking over it with a fine-tooth comb, I don't think it's anything you're going to notice, at least on not on this representation. So, interesting little detail that they've added here is that the parking brake handle is done in silver. You can't really see it here because I'm shining a light. Maybe there. Yeah, you can see it kind of gleams through there. That's actually silver. So, neat little addition there. Overall, really nice casting, I think. I like a lot of the details that they've added. For the price point, I personally am very pleased with the car. Now, would I prefer not to have some slag on the wheel here? Yeah. Would I prefer for the tampos to be in the right spot if they weren't? Yeah. But, at the end of the day, I think it's an excellent casting. Maybe if you get a bad example of it, maybe if I'd gotten a really bad example, I probably wouldn't be happy with it. But overall, for the two I got for the price point, I'm very happy with it. And, even with that, on the aftermarket, these things have already basically doubled in price. Not really sure what they're going to do from there. I kind of don't think they're going to go up a whole lot just because the hype around this car seemed to die down pretty quickly. So, years from now, will it be a $75 or $100 car? Maybe. I don't really look for that, but you just never can tell. It's hard to say. It's JDM. It's fairly popular casting. I think this is the first release we have of this particular car. So, time will tell. But overall, if you're an Acura or a Honda Integra fan, I think you're really going to like this car. If you weren't able to pick one up, would I pay $50 for this? I'd really have to think about it. If I was a super huge Integra fan, then yeah, I would probably go ahead and pick it up. If I'm just kind of a casual fan, I might wait to see what else they do. Or I might just try to see if I could snag one. But would I buy it again for $30 or $35? Yeah, absolutely. All day long. I'm enough of a fan that I would do that. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this casting? Were you able to pick one up? If you did you have any issues? Or are you pleased with it? Or did you have a bad experience? And if you didn't buy it, why? Was there something you saw about it that you didn't like? Do you not like the casting or the car overall? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this review, please consider watching this other video that YouTube is showing you and thinks you'll enjoy. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of our other content. Thanks for watching. Hope you're having a good weekend. Happy hunting, y'all.